Hey guys! So today I'm going to be doing a frequently asked questions, just a general questions about the college program and housing breakdown. But first I want to give a shout out to Allie Clements. She's asked me a lot of custodial questions, so the next vlog I'm going to do is a frequently asked custodial questions, as well as some fun story times from my time in Magic Kingdom. And as a disclaimer, I am sick in this video. I am recovering from strep throat over the holidays, so please forgive me for any sniffling or anything that I do, and if my voice is super scratchy. So let's get into it. The first question is, should you go random or should you pick your roommates off the Facebook page? I personally picked my roommates off the Facebook page for my first program. I linked up with 3 amazing girls, but we did get put with 2 randoms. There was a definite divide between the randoms, but they weren't horrible by any means. They just kept to themselves because they knew each other from back home, and then the 3 of us kind of stayed together on our own. But I really recommend finding your roommates on the Facebook page. I've heard some really terrible stories about randoms and just horrible, horrible stories about some people's randoms, but it is by a case-by-case basis. But I personally feel more comfortable finding roommates on the Facebook page because you have time before you get down there to really get to know them and see if you guys mesh as a group. I honestly can't see myself without my roommates now. They have become my absolute best friends, and I can't imagine life without them, and I don't know how I survived without them before. This time I have found a group of girls that I'm going to be rooming with, and I'm super excited to be living with them, and I can't wait for us to make magical memories on our DCP. The second question is, should you bring your car? I brought my car. I drove 12 hours on my own to bring it with me because I don't like waiting on buses and waiting on other people. So it's just a personal preference. It's definitely not make or break if your car isn't able to make it down to the program. The TransStar buses are notoriously late though, so if you are okay with blocking out like an hour ahead of time to get to work, that's fine. I personally don't. I'm really lazy. I like sleeping, so I like catering my schedule around me so I can sleep more. They also are prone to breaking down and catching on fire, so not something I'm too into, but it's not a make or break. Just make sure that you plan ahead of time, but if you have a way to bring your car, I really highly recommend it. The next question is, when should you arrive for check-in? So you will receive, in the weeks leading up to your check-in day, an itinerary from the housing email, and it'll have what time your check-in is. So my roommates had like a 7 a.m., 8 a.m., something ridiculously early check-in, and I had a 12 o'clock check-in. You can't go before your check-in time. They'll send you back and they'll say come back at this time. They're really nice about it though. They sent me to Chick-fil-A actually because it was right next to Vista. But I would recommend going a night or so ahead of time to Florida. I drove in last time the night before. My roommates and I shared a hotel room, and then we all went to check in. It just made it a lot easier on not rushing to get to check in. And you want to make sure that like you don't miss your check-in time, so it just made it a little bit easier. One of my roommates did drive in the day of check-in. She was coming from Texas, and she made it on time, but she had a later check-in time, so especially if you end up with a earlier check-in time, I really recommend going the night before to Florida and staying in some type of hotel, whether it be on property or not. There's some really nice hotels near the other complexes. Sorry, I say other complexes because I lived in Vista. Near Patterson, the Commons, and Chatham, that are pretty reasonable, especially if you split it with your roommates. So I would definitely check those out. The next question is, what does check-in slash the first week look like? So you'll have your check-in time on your itinerary, and you'll get your housing ID made then. So you need to make sure that from the shoulders up that you are in Disney Look, because it is going to be your ID for your entire program for your housing. And you'll get your apartment assignment, so you'll find out what apartment you're in. It has changed since last time. My season, everybody checked in at Vista Way, which made parking ridiculous for the residents and for people checking in. And now they do it by what complex you'll be living in. So if you're going to be living in Chatham, you'll check in at Chatham, which makes it a lot easier, because I know on check-in days, when people were coming to Vista to check in still, my apartment was the one right across from the pavilion, so parking was ridiculous. They would block off almost all the spaces around our apartment, and I would have to park on the opposite side and walk all the way back to my apartment, and it wasn't ideal. So I think that this new system is really great, and you also get to find out what complex you're in sooner. It used to be you still didn't know what complex you were in until you got to check in, and then your ID said it. So I like that a lot better, but and it just makes it easier for everybody because you already know what complex you're in, which is really nice. So check-in. After check-in, you may have castings that day. It'll be on your itinerary. It may be the next day. Mine was personally that day. One of my roommates was the next day. I had about a 15-20 minute window between castings and check-in time. So I went, put some of my stuff in my apartment to claim my bedroom for me and my roommate, and then went on to casting. There'll be a bus to take you there, and that's where they do fingerprints and all that, and they have the really cute Alice in Wonderland door handle and the really beautiful gold statues that grace everybody's Snapchats when they do the college program. And it's just a really fun bus ride. I met a lot of fun people. I actually met a fellow custodian on the bus ride there. So that's what check-in day is. Sometimes you can have castings the next day though, and if you do, then you can just go ahead and move into your apartment. If not, then you go to casting, and then you can go ahead and move into your apartment. Then later on that week, they will have a housing meeting. It'll also be on your itinerary, and if you have any type of drug testing, things like that, they'll go ahead and have that on your itinerary as well, and that'll happen during the first week. And then at the end of the first week or the beginning of the second week, you'll have traditions. So that leads us to the next question: what is traditions? So traditions is kind of the orientation to the company, and this is why we do what we do, and this is why we do it the way we do it, and it's really emotional for a lot of people. I know I cried. You'll get to do a tour of Magic Kingdom, and that's when you get your name tag and your ID. So until you go to traditions and get your ID, you can't get into the park. So everybody's excited and waiting for traditions. Your blue ID is not your main gate. You will be sent that about a week or so after traditions, but it will get you into the park. When you go to the gates, I know at Magic Kingdom that they have guest services standing at the touch points to be able to help with that. I'm not sure about the other parks, but even if you feel like you don't want to hold up the touch points, you can go to guest relations, and they'll be able to give you temporary passes to get into the park. So traditions is just kind of when you officially become part of the company. It is also the first time you are going to be paid for being at work. So the next question is what to wear to check-in and traditions. So check-in, they know that you really want to be comfortable because you're going to be moving into your apartment. So they just ask that you be Disney look from the shoulders up, because again, you'll be taking your housing ID. I think I had my hair in braids, a t-shirt, and some leggings when I did my housing ID and check-in, and obviously Disney look makeup. This is not Disney look makeup. These wings are not. Don't do this. But just make sure that it's nothing scandalous, nothing crazy. Make sure you look presentable, because this is the first time that anyone in the company is seeing you. So you want to give them your best impression, but they also understand that you want to be comfortable. So I'm probably wearing like shorts and a t-shirt or leggings and a t-shirt. I'll probably have my hair in a messy bun because who has time to do their hair, honestly. Um, and then traditions, business casual. Um, I wore slacks, I think ballet flats, and a blouse with a blazer. It was a little cold because my traditions was in the beginning of February, but this time around it's going to be in March, so I'll probably be fine without a jacket, but I did need a jacket in the January one. So if you have an earlier check-in date, maybe bring a nicer business jacket. That way you're not freezing because it does get really cold in traditions. At least mine was in the morning, so I would definitely recommend if you have an earlier check-in time or check-in date to bring a nicer jacket to do traditions in. Some people wear dresses, that's fine, as long as it meets the guidelines. Some people wear heels. Unless you're really comfortable and used to walking in heels, I really don't recommend it because you, again, are going to be walking through Magic Kingdom. I am going to be wearing kitten heels this time that I've worn in the park multiple times now, so I know that I can handle walking around Magic Kingdom in them. But I also wear heels every day for work, so wearing flats was very difficult for me. But if you're not used to heels, I really recommend some nice ballet flats instead of heels. You can look just as dressy with flats as you are heels, so I would really recommend that because you are going to be walking a lot. Um, you have to be fully in Disney look for traditions. So your makeup has to be Disney look, nail polish has to be Disney look. You can't have Christmas nails that look really gross like mine. And obviously, there were girls on the bus with me on the way to traditions, and they had nail polish remover taking their nail polish off because it wasn't Disney look. And if you have any questions about what is and what isn't Disney look, like glasses, watches, things like that, take it with you to casting, and they'll be able to give you a definitive answer of that's Disney look, this isn't Disney look, or this is almost Disney look, I'd recommend changing this, that type of thing. It's just a lot of times it depends on the leader. Most of my leaders didn't care if I had slightly winged eyeliner. Now, it wasn't this long and dramatic. It was like out to here, very baby winged. I never wore my makeup crazy. I didn't do eyeshadow or anything for work. It was literally mascara, eyeliner. That's about it. Sometimes some lipstick that was a light pink. But one day I had 2 leaders compliment my makeup, and then a 3rd leader told me not to wing it. So it just really depends on your area's leaders and coordinators. So I would take it with you to castings just in case, because I see a lot of times on the page, people post pictures, is this Disney look? Is this Disney look? So you can also email recruiting if you're not down there yet and ask them, hey, is this Disney look? And they'll be able to give you an answer definitively as well. And the ever-present question, when do I get my purple postcard? So the purple postcard doesn't always make it to everybody. Last time I was accepted in September and didn't get my postcard till December. This time I was accepted in September again and have yet to receive it. So if you don't receive it, don't worry about it. Email recruiting and they'll be able to send you one. I have yet to email recruiting because I've been slacking and been super, super busy between the holidays and being sick and everything. So don't sweat it if your purple postcard doesn't make it to you the first time around. Just email recruiting. They're more than happy to send you one because they know that that's a really special keepsake. So now we're going to break down housing. What complex is the best? In my personal opinion, Visit Away is the absolute best. It has its own bus hub for those who aren't bringing their car. It's off of 535, so it's really easy to get to any of the parks. It has Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, Walgreens, CC's, we get a cash discount, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, Dollar Store, all within walking distance. So I think it's the most convenient as well, especially for those who don't have cars because they can just walk to different food locations. It also has their own laundry on the bottom floor of every building. So I really liked, because I was on the bottom floor, being able to walk outside of my apartment, do laundry, and walk right back in. The other complexes, I'm not sure if all of them are like that, but you have to walk to different buildings to be able to do your laundry, so it was really convenient at Vista to have it right in your own building. Um, I really just I like Vista a lot, and unrenovated honestly wasn't that bad. My roommate on her second program got Vista, and she'd Vista the first time, and then on her extension got a third Vista. And the third one that she had was renovated, and it was really nice. So it's just the luck of the draw of if you get renovated or not. They're still in the process of renovating the buildings at Vista. But I think this is the best, and me and my roommates right now are currently planning on putting in for a Vista Way apartment. The second one in my list of hierarchy is Patterson. Patterson is pretty much a nicer Vista. It has nicer rooms, it has a balcony, and you only pay a little bit more for Patterson. It doesn't have its own bus stop, but it's close to Mickey's Retreat and the Outlet Mall, and I mean, it's super nice. One of my roommate's extensions, she had this, or Patterson. I liked it a lot, but I still like Vista way more. The next is Chatham, because Chatham is kind of run-of-the-mill, like, not spectacular, but it's not horrible at all. It's also close to Mickey's Retreat and the Outlet Mall and Panera Bread and all that. It may have bunk beds, and Patterson and Vista don't, so I really like that fact. I don't know. They were nice apartments. I went to a friend's apartment in Chatham a lot, but I really, like, it's great. It's a good option. I still prefer Vista or Patterson. My sister actually lived in Patterson on her program and loved Patterson, so the Commons is the most expensive, and I really don't like it. It could have bunk beds. It has its own washer and dryer in the apartment, but I really can't justify the cost that it is just to have the laundry be in your apartment. It was a lot extra, and I really couldn't justify it because I don't think I did enough laundry to justify paying that much extra every week. So, I mean, it's up to you. They also have their own bus stop, and they're close to the Outlet Malls and Mickey's Retreat and Panera Bread as well. Um, I don't know. Commons is probably the least favorite of mine just because the cost is so outrageous, and for me, there's really not enough payout for me to pay that much. I would literally pay more for Vista because it's right next to Chick-fil-A because it's my favorite than I would to have laundry in my own apartment. That shows where my priorities lie. Like, food comes over everything else for me, so Vista Way is my number one choice forever and ever. And the next question is, what does housing provide? So, housing obviously provides a bed, dresser, closet, and a nightstand. For the bathroom, they provide shower curtain liner, and the outside sink actually has shelves built into the wall, so that's really nice to keep some things in. For the kitchen, they provide plates and cups and silverware and some pots and pans. They don't have cookie sheets, so I would really recommend bringing some of those. And most of the pots and pans aren't very good, so I would probably coordinate with roommates if you are picking them on the Facebook page. Someone to bring a nice non-stick pan. We used one of my roommates for a while because it was really, really good. I really recommend bringing Tupperware. None of us thought of it, so we didn't have any. Shout out to Megan's mom for sending us a crap ton of Tupperware to the point where we had a cabinet dedicated to nothing but Tupperware. I definitely would recommend bringing some because you will need it, especially if you plan on making food and then taking it to work. It makes it a lot easier. Provide a colander. I brought one because I didn't know that they had it, and mine was one of those collapsible silicone ones or rubber ones, So we had two, which was good because then when one was dirty, we had a backup, that type of thing. So you also get little bulletin boards in your bedrooms as well as a big one in the living room. So make sure you bring stuff to decorate it with. And internet is provided as well as cable, but you need to bring your own television and your own Wi-Fi router, and I believe an Ethernet cable to be able to use it. The next question is, when is rent due? Rent is taken out of your paycheck every week, and it includes rent, utilities, as well as cable and internet. So it'll automatically be taken out, and if you don't work enough, I believe it rolls over to the next week. I'm not really 100% positive on that because I always worked ridiculous hours, so I never had that problem. So the next time you guys are going to see me, I'll probably still be sick because I'm going to probably film the rest of my vlogs that I have planned out for the next little while tonight. I'm going to do a custodial frequently asked questions as well as a packing list of things that I think are useful and things that I'm bringing personally because I am moving down on my own, so I am bringing a lot more stuff. My boyfriend's flying in to help me move, but I'm staying down there, so I'm having to take a little bit more stuff than normal, but it's still the same kind of list, just condensed it down a little bit. I've already started packing. I have a giant stash right now over on the other side of my room that I'm looking at right now. It's kind of huge. I'm gonna have to repack it a couple of times now though. So that vlog, it's gonna be a long one. I'm gonna start filming it this week. Start going through all of my stuff. But I don't move until March for another 77 days. So it's gonna be mix and match over the next couple of months of me packing. So just be on the lookout for my packing blog and my custodial frequently asked questions, and hopefully I will be able to update really soon. I know it's been a while and I'm going to try really, really hard to update sooner than I have been. I just got a new software to edit, so everything should be going quicker than it was before. I also just got a bunch of new memory cards for my camera, so hopefully I will be able to produce videos much faster. Alright guys, thanks, bye!